Well, it's narrowed down to 3. And now you have the wonderful choice of the next president of Ireland. One of those 3 candidates. Did you see that presidential candidate debate last night? Or should I say debate? Because I don't really think that's what you consider what I would consider a debate. And to think that we have to pick one out of the 3, or you could spoil your vote. And that won't achieve. A lot of people saying, what will spoiling your vote achieve? And technically, the answer is nothing. Still, one of those 3 will be our next president of Ireland, which is just depressing, in my opinion. And maybe you love one of them. I don't know. But to think that that's the best 3 candidates we have in Ireland to put forward for the next president of Ireland in about less than a month's time, well, it kind of sums up the state of the nation we're in right now. Spoiling your vote, and I'm not telling anybody to spoil their vote, but spoiling your vote does one thing and one thing only, because it's going to be recorded. It will send out a huge message to the Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael government. Throw in a couple of independents there, obviously. But it sends out a big message to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael saying, we're disgusted at what you did. Whether you agreed with Maria Steen, whether you wanted Sheridan, whether you wanted Nick Delahunty, or if you even wanted Conor McGregor on the ballot sheet. I think after watching that debate last night, people are now realising, going, bollocks. Actually, I never really thought what that meant by them stopping those candidates. And I looked at it last night. I'm trying to analyse it to the best I can, and it's nothing personal. I don't know any of the 3 candidates from Adam. I don't know them, and they don't know me. But we'll start at Jim Gavin. And if I be very honest, I actually think that was possibly another stitch-up job, because the other 2 candidates got to speak fairly freely, but Jim was interrupted all the time, and that might have been a good thing. Because even though Micheál Martin will never, ever, ever admit that he got this one wrong, my opinion, Jim Gavin does not interview well at all. Comes across, in my opinion, aggressive. A lot of handy, pointy, shaky stuff, you know. And people don't like that. And I don't know what he has to offer. I still don't know what he stands for. I still don't know what he has to offer. 0 background in politics. So I don't know where his opinions are on anything are. But if I was to turn around and say, listen, would you go out and have a pint with him? I'd have a pint with anybody. But would I stay to hang around to have a second? I'm not so sure. Because I don't feel any connection. I don't feel the love, you know. And you need to have something like that if you want to be the president of Ireland. I don't necessarily need to agree with your policies, but you need to have something that kind of makes me want to go along with you. And then we had Heather Humphreys. And I've always said Heather Humphreys gives the impression of being like your mammy or your granny. There's definitely something lovable about her. But when she talks, she actually doesn't say a whole lot. And again, I'm kind of going, okay, well, if I have to pick between those 2, well, I might go for Heather Humphreys. And, I don't know. And then we go on to Catherine Connolly, and whether you agree or disagree with her, she comes across like she does have her opinions. And I always like that. But I just don't like that that's my only option out of 3 people, to the point that I can't vote for her. I tell you why I can't vote for her. I can't vote for her because of who has backed her. I disagree with everything in the political parties that have backed her. Everything. And I can't back her because of that. Now maybe if I see more debates, and maybe if, look, am I going to pick one of 3, or am I going to write down Maria Steen on the ballot sheet to a big fuck you to the government? And they'll just go, well, you mean, as always, your protests don't really mean anything, don't achieve anything, will do nothing. But I think the politicians, and I'm hoping, I keep going on about the knights in shining armour that I really hope exist within the political parties, that are going to turn around one day, grow a set of balls, and just turn around and just go, do you know what? Screw the whip. To hell with the whip. We're going to take it on. We get enough people to go against the whip, to go against with the current party leaders, because there's no doubt they genuinely are worried. Because I have never in my life seen sentiment like it throughout so many people throughout the entire country. People coming into the restaurant just going, I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick shit of everything we're going through right now at the moment. I would describe it akin to being rancid and toxic. And they think they're doing a great job. They really do. It'll probably be the lowest turnout of a presidential election. And if you watch everything on social media, which I do, that's where I get my trends. That's who is winning. Catherine Connolly is winning on social media because they're quite smart. Well, they think they're smart. But you're seeing, oh my God, I mean, I always thought I'd go for one of Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael, but after seeing Catherine Connolly in action last night, well, I think she's won me over. And then you click into their bio and you go, for fuck's sake, lads, sure, I can see which party you're aligned to. Your pronouns are a bit of a giveaway in the bio of it. You've got a couple of flags there too, lads. I mean, like, who do you think you're fooling? But those comments who are going out to people who don't necessarily look at the way I look at things would turn out, they'd win votes over. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael's campaign online is non-existent. Non-existent. If I see another video of Jim trying to impress me, with all due respect, Jim, like, stop. Somebody needs to get you aside and make you media savvy before the next debate comes out. You need to loosen up a bit. You need to become likable. Because right now at the moment, when I see you, I see Micheál Martin. And I don't like that. I don't like that. Hey, listen, I could be totally fucking wrong. This is just my opinion on how I see things going. At the moment, after one debate, I see Catherine Connolly quite a bit far ahead. I think that's going to be reeled back in fairly lively, because whether they admit it or they don't admit it, the powers that be behind Heather Humphreys and Jim Gavin are turning around going, all right, okay, well, we need to do this and we need to do this. I mean, there are a lot of things. Stupid isn't one of them, although that is debatable. But they will be able to kind of come back stronger in the next debate, I think. And they know, Jim, look, you need to loosen up, mate. It's like you've got a fucking poker up your hole and and people don't like that. And I don't care. You have to win. For the presidential election, you have to get people to like you in order to vote for you. As it stands right now, last night is what I would consider an embarrassment. To open up everything, Palestine, Gaza, go back and watch that debate and just count the amount of times they say it. And I'm going, lads, this is all great and all that kind of stuff, but when do we get to the issues going on here in Ireland? Because even though the government are pretending there's none, trust me, this country right now is not in a good place. It's not in a good place. And whilst we know the president doesn't have political powers, I still want a president that's going to be standing up for me. And that's why I really wanted Maria Steen. When I looked at that there yesterday, I just went, if Maria Steen was involved in that debate, she'd have won it. She'd have just won it just by sitting there going, looking at the shite. The other guys were coming on. If Nick Delahanty was there, he'd have won that debate last night, in my opinion. Even Gareth Sheridan. These guys, and that's my whole point. They should have been allowed. And we now know what the government did. I'm very Jim Gavin-y. I'm getting my hands out. Put my hands down. We now know what they did. And the result of it is what we saw last night. 3 candidates in a presidential election, and all 3 of them were as embarrassing as each other. The one who came out least embarrassing was Catherine Connolly, in my opinion. But that's not enough to win my vote over for her. No chance. Absolutely no chance. And that's where we are. And in 3-4 weeks' time, we're going to have to decide who you're voting for. As it stands, I know what I'll be doing. It won't be any of them. Maybe I stand corrected. Let me know what you think. Did they impress you? Am I talking absolute poo-poo again? Did they impress you? Will you vote for one of them? Let me know in the comments.